Hi, my name's Betty. I'm a spiritual experiencer. I died, went to heaven. I went there as an atheist, homeless crackhead. And guess what? It didn't matter. It didn't matter that I hurt tons of people in my life. I wasn't judged. I wasn't condemned. There was no such thing as hell. I did go through kind of a icky life review because I was a pretty beastly person. But it didn't last that long. And I got to come back to earth with all this information that I had actually planned my life before I ever came here. Yeah, I picked out all these major life challenges. And so I was downloaded with this pre-birth plan. And I'm not just making this up. There's books about it too. And if you don't believe me, maybe you could check out the work of Michael Newton or Robert Schwartz. Michael Newton has a book called Journey of Souls, and Rob Schwartz has a book called Your Soul's Plan. And those books are fantastic. These are regression therapists who take people in between lives into the planning process. And they've written these books about all this information. But if you don't want to read a book and you just want to get a homeless crackhead's view on this, here you go. So pre-birth planning is all about the major plot points in your life. You have not planned out every bowel movement. You have not planned out every meal, but you have planned out the major adversity that you'll go through, parts of your purpose, your soulmates, your soul family. You picked your parents. I know that's a doozy. And you picked your children, you picked your spouses, you picked all those people. Now, does that mean that you pick them for the whole of your life? No, people pick spouses for certain amounts of time. They want to learn lessons together and then move on. I believe this as a spiritual truth, but you don't have to, because it can be a really hard concept to swallow. I always get met with the same resistance from tons of people. Things like, well, why does Hitler exist? Why do babies die? And those are really hard questions to answer when it comes to this idea of pre-birth planning, because I don't have access to all that information. I don't have God's point of view on this. I only have my little limited point of view. And I'm working with a 2 gig flash drive here. God's got this infinite amount of data saved on the motherboard of existence. But I will say this, that for me, the idea of pre-birth planning gives me autonomy and it gives me strength in this experience. I felt like a victim my whole life. My parents committed suicide when I was in my early 20s. I was raped, beaten, stolen from all throughout my life, my adolescence, my young adulthood. Then I became a perpetrator. I decided that I was going to hurt people as badly as I was hurt. I became the rapist. I became the robber. I became the thief. I became the perpetrator. And all of those things I believed were planned. And so it makes it really hard to hold resentment against people because I feel like there was a purpose behind all of it. And it's just something that gives me a lot of strength in my experience. Maybe it will do the same thing for you, or maybe it makes you feel out of control. Like, this is not information to be weaponized. I would never go up to a grieving mother and say, well, you planned it before you got here, so just get over it. Like, that's not what this information is for. This information is for people who are on a path. They've run out of options and they're really looking to do some deep internal healing. And sometimes taking accountability is a great way to jumpstart accountability. Okay, let's see. There's some people in the chat. Hi. Terry said that experience changed you completely. It was the best thing that ever happened for your life. I totally agree, Terry. I'm so glad that I got to experience transformation in my life. Hi, Chris. And hey, everybody else. I believe that if transformation is possible for me, somebody who was literally living in a gutter, transformation is definitely possible for you. And I get this opportunity to work with people today. I just had sessions all day and I got to be of service in my 12-step fellowship earlier in the day. And it feels really fulfilling to help people, to guide them through transformation. Transformation doesn't happen all at once. It's not a big bucket of ice water on your head. I mean, not usually. And I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. Sometimes people are like, I wish I had a near-death experience. And I'm like, I'll kill you. I don't know if they'll come back, but it's one life experience I haven't got to have yet. The life experience of murder. Imagine if YouTube like stops my stream for saying that. I'm just kidding. I'm a very sarcastic person. Thank you. So you don't need to have a near-death experience to experience transformation. You can just choose to transform. You can just scoot your little butt into the cocoon of transformation and begin your process. And I think transformation is all about deconstructing your old belief systems. What belief systems are not working for you anymore? Get rid of them, delete them off of your flash drive and start to let the new things in. So maybe somebody, that's so funny. Somebody said, say no to 187. Maybe somebody wants to share about something in their life that they would like to change, since we're live on YouTube right now. So if you have something in your life that you're looking to change and you want to get some spiritual guidance about it, I can be that person for you if you want. Let's see. Somebody I was just talking to was talking about manifesting a partner. They really wanted to manifest their dream partner. They keep manifesting people who are not aligned with what they want. So the best way to manifest a dream partner is to start to develop some of those things inside yourself. So like this person wanted somebody who was financially secure, but they self-identified as somebody who is not financially secure. So like you got to get your financial security in order to feel worthy of a partner who also has that. Just like little things like that. I know it seems really boring and I don't want to do those things, but they actually work. Okay, let's see. We got some stuff in the chat. Somebody said inner critic, procrastination, YouTube addiction. Well, don't stop watching YouTube because then you have to stop watching me. But I totally feel you on that. I have a bad addiction to scrolling. What I do is I lock my phone in a box. I bought one of those timed safes, those things where like you can type in how many hours you want your phone to be in there for, or like cookies or whatever you want to put inside of it. I have to literally put my phone in jail because I'm so addicted to it. And it's like starting to condition me a little bit. So like now at 9 o'clock, I know that it's time for me to get off my phone and I lock it in this box until early the next morning. Somebody mentioned procrastination, inner critic. Okay, so the best thing that you can do for your inner critic and your procrastinator is design them. Give them their own shape, face, name, personality, a voice, and talk to them. Yeah, it seems kind of like wacky and cuckoo. And do I have multiple personality disorder? But I promise you, you don't. There's parts of you that live inside of you that have been taking up a lot of space. Your inner critic and your procrastinator, those are your protector parts. They're protecting you from something. Your your procrastinator might be protecting you from the fear of success. Like, what will happen if I actually do everything that it is that I want to do? And so they're just trying to keep you safe and small because that's what they think they're supposed to do. Your inner critic could have a similar thing that it's protecting you from. It could be protecting you from happiness because it believes that if you're happy, then you run the risk of rejection or abandonment or the happiness going away. And so instead, it just makes you miserable all the time for fear of actually feeling good about yourself. So design those parts. My procrastinator, well, I guess I don't really have a procrastinator anymore. Like that part is pretty integrated. But it looked like sort of this super lazy, it was like a teenage boy, hands down the front of their pants, hat on sideways with a bag of chips and a skateboard. I don't know why that's the imagery that comes up for my procrastinator, but it is. And I had to have a conversation with him and say like, hey, we really need to get our ass in gear. We have a lot of goals that we want to make happen. But he was so scared of success. He didn't want me to be successful because that success could mean exposure or running the risk again of rejection and abandonment. My inner critic is always trying to keep me small for the same reasons. Fear of success. It's one of my biggest ones. A lot of people have fear of failure. Not me. I'm way used to failure. I have a fear of success. Tell me what your fears are in the chat. Okay, let's see. How do I stop myself being so stubborn with myself? Yeah, give yourself a break. That stubbornness, my inner controller, oof. She looks like Miss Trenchbull from the movie Matilda. Do you remember that character? That's my inner controller. She's got a clipboard with her and she's always just like so brute. It's a lot. And so I have to remind her to relax. Every morning, I cover her in this beautiful pink light and I tell her that it's going to be okay and she doesn't have to work today. She can take the day off. And I invite a spirit guide in to like, show her to her room, help her remember that she doesn't have to work so hard, that she's not on the payroll today. And I ask my spirit guide to come in and be like the main character in my movie for the day. Okay, let's see what else. My NDE was in 2019. It's been pretty wild in my brain since you bring me real hope. Oh my God, thanks so much. I'm excited that I bring you hope. That makes me feel so special. Okay, Christopher said, I like that. Great way to redirect and address those aspects of ourselves that we ignore. Let's see. Somebody else asked, you really believe anyone can transform no matter the circumstances? Yes, I literally believe that Trump is going to have a near-death experience and even he is going to transform. I believe that transformation is inevitable. If I transformed, you're definitely going to transform. This was not part of my picture. This is not something that I wanted for myself. It's not even something that I ever could have even conceptualized for myself. So if that's possible for me, it's definitely possible for you. Okay, rumination about trauma, how to forgive and let go. I want to be free of fear and anger. How? Thanks, Betty. Ugh, Michelle, that's really hard. I don't know. When you figure it out, you let me know. Just kidding. I do know. I actually just met with my coach yesterday about this. And because every coach needs a coach. I'm not fixed or healed. Like I still need somebody to guide me as well. We did some Ho'oponopono stuff, which I think is so annoying. That's like where you say, I'm sorry, I forgive you, I love you, thank you. So we did this imagery where I have this little list right here. These are all the people that I can't stand in my life. Should I let it go into focus? Oops, it sort of did. Anyway, I have a little list of people that I cannot stand, and they take up a lot of space inside my head. This is like with spiritual awareness and all these things. Some of these are people that I've met in recovery and in spiritual awareness. And yeah, I did like this visualization where they all lined up in a single file line, and I let each of them come in front of me, and I did this affirmation, like, I'm sorry, like I forgive you, thank you, I love you. And I watched each of their faces soften in my mind. And like, it was actually really beautiful. And, then like I had the big boss of this forgiveness line come in at the end. Anyway, that's something that has been helping, and it's a muscle. You have to do it all the time. It's not a one and done. I have to do it every single day. I pray for all these assholes on this list every night before I go to sleep. And some nights I go like, I'm praying for you, Sean, you fat fucking idiot. And then like I'll do it for a whole month. And then like, maybe I won't call him fat at the end of the month. And then I'll just call him a fucking idiot. And then a month later, I'm just saying his name. And then a month after that, like I don't even have to pray for him anymore because he's just not even in my mind. He doesn't exist anymore. Okay, let's see what else. The issue I have with the idea of pre-birth planning is that I have trouble figuring out what I'm having for dinner, let alone what I'm to do in a whole lifetime. Yeah, I get that. You don't have to have it all figured out. Like that's the fun of this whole experience, is figuring it out on a daily basis. Like just go with the flow, surrender, be at ease. You really don't, there's no way for you to mess up what's meant for you. I'm going to tell you how I know that, right? I was always supposed to be in recovery. I was always supposed to experience addiction. That was a given. And I was always supposed to be in recovery, but I kept ignoring the internal GPS. First time I ever went to rehab, I was 18. And I could have just hopped into my recovery storyline right then. But instead I decided that like, I wanted to be able to legally drink one day, and I wasn't going to be in recovery all the way since then, because I couldn't even really see a life for myself at all, but definitely couldn't see a life in recovery. But no matter what, recovery was going to find its way to me. And that's when all my drug dealers stopped, answering the phone for me. When I had my spontaneous healing out of heroin withdrawal, when the path became so narrow that I had no choice but to go into a long-term rehabilitation center and stop using drugs. I got another story about how I know what's meant for you will always find its way to you. And that is my first husband. I've been married a couple times. I'm quite a catch. They just throw me back and forth. So my first husband, he was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes because we started dating when we were really young. And he, we had to like change our whole lifestyle. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. My parents died. We got divorced right after, like very shortly thereafter, obviously, because like who can survive a double suicide of your in-laws? And anyway, I started dating this other man. I've dated lots of men in between, but like 9 years later, I was dating this guy. And he told me that he needed a kidney, that his body was failing. He was like 35 years old, and that he needed a kidney, and that his mom was supposed to be his donor, but at the last minute, they told her that she couldn't donate. And so, just thinking about him is making me kind of emotional. Anyway, I happened to like check my ex-husband's Instagram. I wasn't like stalking him. I mean, I was in this moment, but I hadn't checked his Instagram in like 5 years. I just had kind of, I guess, like this internal little knowing that I should look him up. The same day that my boyfriend told me that he needed an organ, my ex-husband had posted a message on Instagram saying that he also needed a kidney. So it didn't matter that I went through all these twists and turns and all these other relationships. I was going to have to experience the life experience of having a partner who needed an organ, no matter what. And it would have happened literally on the same day, because that's what happened in my real life. I mean, it was wild. Anyway, I don't know if that made any sense or if it was a little disjointed, but what's meant for you will always find its way to you. There's no way to fuck it up. The only thing that you could really do to fuck up your life is do nothing. Like just do stuff, make mistakes, take twists and turns. You really cannot, if it's meant for you, it's going to find its way to you no matter what. You really don't have to worry. Okay, let's see. Mariana said, okay, if it's true, then we must have access to much more info, like past births. Oh yeah, we have access to all the info. But again, what's on your flash drive? If your 2 gig flash drive inside your mind is filled with fear of failure, procrastination, your inner critic, your inner controller, how do you have space for any sort of like divine guidance, spiritual intuition, access to past lives, pre-birth plans, Akashic records? You don't have space in your mind for it because your mind is filled with a bunch of garbage and old programming. So let it go. Let it go. Okay, let's see. Hey, doing this slow awakening, but I feel very alone and I don't have anyone to talk to about these kinds of subjects. Well, Mariana, you definitely have me. We're talking about it right now. I have a free sharing group, a little community of people that we meet on Tuesday nights. We're starting a Sunday during the day group as well. And hopefully, like by the end of the year, we'll have a meeting for every day of the week at different times so that we can be time zone friendly to everybody all over the world. Because we all deserve spiritual community. We all deserve to talk about this weird woo-woo shit and not feel judged or criticized because of it. And we all have different pieces of the puzzle. And that's the best part about being part of community, is like, I might know something that you don't know, and you might know something that I don't know. And then we get to tell each other, and then we both know more stuff. It's so cool. So you could check it out on my website, buddhabetty.com, buddhabetty.com. And you'll find it under resources. There's some links, and you'll find the link to the Tuesday night group. And once the Sunday group is up and running on the 24th, the link for that will be up there too. Okay, that was my little shameless promotion for my free community. Okay, it took me nearly a decade not to feel rage at the thought of my ex, and this year it's finally shifted, just gone. I truly believe it happened when I acknowledged my spirit guide. Oof, that is a beautiful story. Yes, forgiveness is real. Like, think about all the people that you used to obsess over and you don't even know what their names are anymore. I have so many people like that. I don't even know what their name is. But I was like, I thought that they were the end all be all in my life. Okay. More people talking about spiritual community. Can I put it in the chat while I'm on here? Can I like switch screens? If I just lost you guys, that would be super sad. I'm going to put the info for the group in the chat so that everybody can access it. Oh my God, I could be on other screens. I could be like doing all of my work that I'm supposed to be doing right now instead of talking to you guys. Okay, let's see. That's a great visual practice with prayers. I'm on it. Okay, Michelle, let me know how it turns out for you. Do you still have nightmares about being dope sick? How can I get rid of them? That's a good question, Mike. I don't necessarily have dreams about, I have relapse dreams, but they're just, it's my subconscious showing me like what still needs to be healed. So I used to have these relapse dreams all the time about trying to smoke meth because that's like my favorite drug. And the meth pipe would always be broken, or like the drugs would get wet. And in dreams, water represents consciousness. So it was kind of my subconscious mind showing me like, nope, this isn't part of your life anymore. But there was one point in my journey where I was trying to smoke meth inside of a dream, and the pipe was broken and it was filled with cookie dough. And I'm like, have the lighter underneath it, and I'm like trying to bake a cookie with this lighter in this meth pipe. Obviously, it wasn't working. But when I woke up, I acknowledged the fact that I had a real problem with sugar addiction. And that's why I assumed that was coming through to me in my dreams. And yeah, I had to really take a look at myself. And I went to a hypnotherapist to stop eating sugar. And I haven't had sugar in over 2 years, which is a miracle. But I really think that it was just because I invested a lot of money in myself. Like, I would have an urge to have a cookie and I'd be like, you just spent $1,000 on hypnotherapy. Are you actually going to eat a fucking cookie? Is this really $1,000 cookie? And so I just stopped eating sugar, and eventually all the cravings went away. Okay, let's see. Christopher said, what is the focus of your book and when is it coming out? Great question, Christopher. Thank you. The focus of my book, I share a lot of my story, but then I also have all these teaching tools inside of it. So like I talk about generational trauma and how to overcome generational trauma because I've had that. I talk about domestic violence. I was in a lot of really fucked up, crazy relationships when I was young because I watched a really fucked up, crazy relationship modeled to me with my parents. And so I talk about like finding your worth, and I talk about procrastination in the book, how to stop being a procrastinator. I talk about pre-birth planning, about healing underlying blocks to manifesting money and your dream partner and utilizing the law of attraction. And I finished the book. It's professionally edited. I'm just waiting for a literary agent to manifest so that I can get it submitted to Hay House. And I'll become a best-selling New York Times best-selling author, published by Hay House or something better. This or something better, God. This or something better. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. You guys have to co-parent together. Eek. Okay, but I'm glad that it shifted. Have you had any experience working with your spirit guides, higher self? Because I really need help with a spiritual issue that I don't think any human can help me solve. I have a big problem on my hands. Oh my gosh. I wonder what it is. Is it that you destroyed all of creation? Because that's mine. Just kidding. Sort of. Yeah, I'm actually hosting a workshop tomorrow if anybody's interested on how to connect to your spirit squad. And I always save a couple scholarships, which I think I gave out for this one, but maybe I can find 1 or 2 more. But yeah, like I connect with my spirit guides for everything. And sometimes our problems are just human problems. And like, you're just supposed to experience them in a very human way. And you don't need to always be looking for a solution, but I would love to know what your problem is. Feel free to email me if you don't want to say it in the chat. Okay, let's see. Is it possible for someone I lost to come back as offspring? Totally. Oh my God, I have a great, great story about this. Okay. So I think that it is possible for like people to be reincarnated. Obviously, like, I don't know if they would want to come back into the same family line because, or maybe they would because they still had some work to do, or they really want to be with you in human form. But it is definitely, definitely possible. And hold on, Amazon's calling me. So yes, it is possible. When I was first going through my awakening process, I kept seeing all these dead people all around me. It was like old family spirits, like manifested into new people. Like I was literally sitting on a stoop on the streets of Brooklyn, totally lost and broken and feeling completely like out of control. And this man just came and sat next to me. And it was like this older Black guy. And when I looked in his eyes, it was my dad. I mean, my dad wasn't an older Black guy, but he had the same exact eyeballs as my dad, like the same energy behind them. And he was drinking Steel Reserve, which was my dad's favorite beer. And he just kind of spoke to me in a riddle. And then he just like walked away. And I was like, okay, that was actually my dad. So that wasn't somebody who was reborn, but it was definitely somebody that I felt like had remanifested into another human being for me on the path. Okay, let's see what else. Hi, Betty. I love your Mayim interview. I know she's so cool, by the way. Like we text a little bit, but she's like actually a really cool person. Somebody asked, is it the publisher? My book hasn't been published yet, but I'm manifesting that Hay House will want to be my publisher. Okay, guys, I loved interacting. I usually make my lives on Instagram, but I got this new fancy camera and like this beautiful lighting setup. And so I wanted to make a YouTube live. So I'm really grateful for all of you taking time to hang out with me. There's 27 of us in here. Guys, come to my free sharing group. I'm not like a teacher in the group. Like I don't even actually like hold the space all the time. I'm just another community member. I did create it because I'm a creator, but like it's not led by anybody. Like we all govern ourselves and everybody contributes. Like if you want to be like if you want to do service, please come. Like we need you. We need more people in our service pool. And we just hold space. We talk about a different spiritual topic every week. And we're always looking for like fresh ideas and forward thinkers. And I'm part of this thing called The Wheel. WeAreTheWheel.com. We host retreats and we have local groups and we have this virtual community and we want you involved. So if you're looking for spiritual community, you've found it. Okay. We'll see you soon. Be wavy.